All right, traders, what is up? It is Nick Bentley. It is July 15th. It's 9:12 in the morning. And guys, just wanted to show you a trade that we just got in on silver futures. And I'm going to talk to you about the trade that we got in. I've already got my stop in place just in case. And I'm going to tell you why, A, that's the most important thing you can do in any trade is get your stop in. But B, why I took a short, even though we are above 60 on the trend, which you can see, guys, every time that we breach, we create those new lows. New low. And right here, we do have that turning point, okay? So I'm gonna talk to you about all of these things inside of this 15-minute level that I've got here on silver futures. It is a drop-based drop. I'm gonna add a little bit more time here so we can talk about this. And you can see what I'm looking at. So this drop-based drop occurs inside of a downtrend. And not only does it occur inside of a downtrend, but right at our level, we have a turning point, which is one of our stacking the odds studies, is when you have this bullish pressure get wiped out and a precipitous fall down from that area. There's not a lot of buying that's going to be occurring here. Now, the opposite side of that is that we're at 80 on the RSI, which is extremely strong into this area. So I decided to take this trade, but instead of taking a regular size position, I've only got 2 contracts on. And what has to happen is my first target has to be right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and create an alert at or below, mark that thing out so we can get that on the books. And what I'll do is I'll show you guys how I go about putting in my OCOs on this. Very first though, when you're inside of a trade, the first thing that I always do is make sure that I've got my stop in place. And I do that to make sure price can't scream north, because again, guys, when price comes into an area, I have no idea where price is gonna go. I really don't know whether or not this is gonna work. All we can do is stack the odds in our favor, which is exactly what we've done here. We're halfway into the level, so I'm glad I got my stop in, but I'm gonna show you how you can enter into what is called an order cancels order. And so what that essentially means is we can scroll down to where our target is, and I can see the line over here depending on where I scroll, right? You see that gray line moving on there. And I'm gonna go ahead and select 18.415. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come back in here and make sure that I've got the same stop in place, which is 18.75. So I'm gonna change this to 18.75 on my stop. I'm not stressing out or worrying about getting this entered because I know that I'm in, right? Now my limit is 18.415 basically. And basically what I'm telling Think or Swim TD Ameritrade right now is that if price hits this, if price comes down and it hits this, I want my stop to be canceled. If price comes up and I get stopped out, I want this target to be canceled. That's essentially what this says. So I'm gonna hit confirm and send. And now I have a stop on 3 contracts with 1 limit, but I'm only short 2 contracts. So all I do is I come in here and I'll replace that to 1 contract, okay? So now I've got 1 target, 2 stops, and I can either wait for my alert to be hit to set this up, or I can go down into a higher time frame, which is typically what we do to find our second target. And if I gotta go way back and away because there's nothing really fresh here, right? And what we're looking for targets is either demand, is higher time frame demand. And I'm gonna go back just to show you guys. I know what the chart of silver looks like, but it is way back before you get into 18. So we are all the way back into, well, let me back up 90 days here. I mean, you guys can just see price was at 27, it's now at 18.615, and there's nothing really here for me to like set a target at. So one of the ways that I can do this is I can come down into the area where I found my level, and I can come in and use an extension tool. So I'll go from the area that we at to the low of that move, back up into the area where we got short at, and what I can do is I see that my first limit is somewhere in between the 23.6 and 38.2. That's fine because we have this demand here. But if I'm looking for a potential opportunity for T2, and what we'll do because of this is once we breach these new lows, guys, we're going to be trailing our stop down. But price obviously could come screaming down, and what we want to do is we want to come in here and I want to change my target to the 160. Whoops. Oh, there it did go through. Okay, sorry. 17.48 basically, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna enter a new OCO doing that. So we're short, and when we're short, we need to buy back contracts. So I just click anywhere on here, and 18.75 is the stop, right? 18.75. My limit is 17.48 is what I'm gonna call it. So 17.48. And I'm gonna change these to good till cancel, because if silver trades all the way down here in one day, that would be pretty crazy. But I've seen crazier things. Now, what you see on the screen is I've got 3 stops, 2 targets, and I'm only short 2 positions. So this little icon right here, this little link, right? That tells you that they're linked together. Over here on the chart inside of Thinkorswim 2, you can see that there's little brackets here. There's a bracket here and there's a bracket all the way down here. It tells you which ones are linked to that. Now notice the extra stop that I have, and it doesn't have that little link there. So that is the one that I want to cancel, okay? So now that we've got our stops figured out, what I want to do is I want to come in here and I want to create an alert halfway to our first target. All right, and guys, the reason why I'm doing that, though we're in a downtrend, my number one objective here, yes, we need to make money. Yes, I enjoy profits and I enjoy P&Ls, but I also, what I like more than that, honestly, is reducing my risk. And the way that I am able to do that is by moving my stops once we are halfway to break even, if the technicals tell me I have to do that. And right now, the technicals are telling me that I have to do that because we came in so high on the RSI. So guys, with that, I'm gonna let this play out and I'll come back after trade plays out. Welcome back, traders. We are at our halfway point to T1. And so what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna move my stops. And the way that I do that is I'm going to move this just below break even, cover the cost of commissions. I'm gonna actually move it just 2 ticks at 625, just take the very smallest of profits. You can see we're up about $1,000 on the trade right now, and halfway to T1. And what we have here, guys, is a free trade about 10 minutes after we enter into the trade. And I hope price comes back down, but I'm not expecting price to make a new lows because of the RSI. All right, so again, we are in a downtrend here on silver. We did get short, which was prudent. We did limit the amount of size position we're taking because of the RSI as we come back in, and we put our target aggressively because there's a breakout above this area and some demand here. So price could come back up and we can make $100 on the trade to cover the cost of commissions on the day, or price could come back down, and that's going to be roughly I don't know, $1,000 a contract. And once we come down here, we're going to let price play out. We can trail it down either based on supply and demand, or we can use some moving exit strategies, things of that nature. So I'll come back after this one plays out and let you guys know what I've decided to do. All right, guys, I had to come back here and just talk about a little side note that I know traders think about all the time. We're up $1,000 on the trade. That's a lot of money, right? But it is also a lot of money relative to your account size and your experience in trading. And you have to let price play out. If there's anything that I've learned in trading for the past 13 years is that while I would love to take my $1,000 in profits or $1,100 in profits right now, what's more important to me, based on my experience, account size, and things of that nature, is to let the price and let strategy play out, because you can alter your strategy based on what price is telling you if you have to do it. But what you can't do is you can't buy your shares or your contracts right here and then get back in the trade as it goes down. There is an element of patience that is required to be a good trader. In fact, the best traders I know make the least amount of trades on a monthly and certainly a yearly basis. It's not about capturing the $1,200 right now. It's about making a free trade. It's free to me right now, guys. I don't care if price comes back up and I only make $100 on this. Yes, I realize that's $1,100 difference, but I am going to let price play out. And so that is just something that I think is really, really important to come in mid-trade here and remind us of that truth that exists, that so many people are really, really, really bad at, is they'll let their losers run, but they'll cut their profits short. If you twisted my arm and said, Nick, what's the difference between successful and unsuccessful traders? It is that people having an emotional marriage to the trade and to the idea. And when the first thing goes wrong, they exit and they cut their profits short. But the opposite of that is that they let these things go and saying, oh, it's gonna turn, it can't go any further. All these dumb emotions that humans have play a really big toll on you in trading. So guys, I'm not doing anything. And 12, 11, 10 years ago, I can tell you that that is not the same action that I would be taking right now. But it is what it is, and some of you guys will get this, and some of you will learn that you need to be able to get it. And hopefully this helps mid-trade. I'll come back once we either get stopped out or we hit T1, and how we navigate from there. All right, guys, back on to our silver trade. Just like 10 minutes after we finished the last trade, we hit T1, which is really, really cool. So we're up $2,200 on the day, and we have $1,100 left open on this particular contract. And let's go back and just review, okay? We're in this downtrend. We found a level on a 15-minute chart that we got short on. We had to move our stop and set our target where it is because of RSI, right? Because of RSI is at 82. That's really, really high. I know a lot of really good traders that would have not taken this trade. I would not have blamed them for that, but it's the reason why I only took 2 contracts here, because it is a higher risk trade. So what I can do, I've got 2 options here. I can wait for price and see if it comes back down. There's not a really lot of good demand here before we got out. There is this area right here at 1833. And so if I back out, let me just check yourself, right? You always got to check yourself. It doesn't really even qualify on a 30-minute because of this wick down. But on a 30, there is this area here. So what I can do to protect myself is come back into a smaller time frame area, since we're already profitable on the trade, and I can, whoops, let me go all the way this way. And you can see that's the area. I have 2 options here on a smaller time frame. I can be super aggressive and I can move it. Let me see where we're at on the 21. Normally I don't do an 8 and 21 EMA exit strategy unless we've hit in T2, but because I only took 2 contracts, it may make sense, and that's just what I'll do. That's fine. I can move this. No, they haven't crossed, so I gotta keep it where it's at. What we would be looking for here is the 8 to cross over that 21 and create a new low before I'm able to use this exit strategy of a breach above 21. But because the 21 is below the 8, I really just need to keep my stop where it's at. And I know that's difficult because we could give up, $1,000 in profit or whatever, but guys, the rules are the rules. I've been living by these rules for a long time. They've made us a lot of money along the way. I'm just gonna keep it where it's at until the rules tell me that I should change. I've already hit it. I've guaranteed at least, $1,100 on this trade, no matter what. And I'm gonna let price play out. And the reason why I'm gonna let price play out is because we are in this downtrend. There's just really nothing else for us to do besides wait and let it play out. All right, guys, just finally our silver trade, we got short. Just to remind you guys, we are in a downtrend here on silver. Go back just a little bit. We are in a downtrend here on silver. we caught a bid, and what we caught a bid into was a 15-minute area that was very high on the RSI 82, which is why we only took 2 contracts short. We hit T1 without the expectation that we're able to create a new low because of what RSI was saying, and we just got stopped out on our second contract, resulting in an $1,100 profit on the day. Guys, not stressing about that at all. Risking $300 to make $1,100 about 10 minutes into the trade, reducing all of the risk by moving our stop to break even. Guys, that's what trading is about. That is why people are successful at trading versus those that are not successful at trading, is understanding what the trend is telling us, understanding what the levels are telling us, and then that's half of it. But then the other half is managing the trade appropriately. And guys, that's what we have right now. So $1,100 on this trade. I've entered 5 trades today, creating all these videos. None of them have been stopped out. All of them have resulted in a free trade. And guys, this is just one of them that it's $1,100 on the day. All right, guys, take it easy.